the paper that I'm going to use for my next project, my next painting, comes in 51-inch rolls, and it comes really tightly rolled. It's 157-pound paper, which is a little bit heavier than 140. Still has to be stretched. And the real trick is getting it out of this box and cutting it. So I've decided I'm going to use this little cradle thing here. Looks like a luggage carrier thing. Put it down here. Cut the box open, roll the paper out, and cut it. Let's see if that works. So now I'm going to start rolling this paper out, and because it is so stiff, the only real way to get it to settle down is to spray it. So I'll spray it as I go, and it'll flatten itself out a little bit. And then just keep pulling it out. And spray it some more. What I'm looking for here is like a 26-inch piece. No, 37-inch piece, which I will cut in half. Okay, so I'll just pull this on out. And of course you have to be careful not to crease anything. And my cutting board is 36 inches, so I'm pretty sure I have all the paper I need. And hopefully they have cut it evenly. And I'll just simply tape this down on the places where it's dry. As you can see now, it's laying flat. Cool. For the last part of this paper section in the video, I wanted to show you how to stretch paper. Now, some people take a lot of pride in not stretching paper. I love it. This is a piece of gator board, which you can order from an art studio if you want to. This is for later. You won't need this now, but as you start getting larger and larger in your paintings, you will love knowing how to do this. So this is a piece of paper that has been soaking in my tub for about 5 minutes. I can see that the water is not quite even on there, but that's okay. So it's very pliable, and I'm going to lay it down on the board. Now it is naturally stretched, but I'm just going to stretch it ever so slightly, corner to corner and corner to corner. If you stretch it too hard, it will pull against the staples too much. Then the rest of it is very simple. You just take a regular, office stapler, and you staple it 1/4 inch inside, about 2 inches away from the edge. 2 inches apart, 1/2 inch away from the edge. Like that. Now what's so cool about gator board, and you go all the way around. Wait till you see when that thing is totally dry. Now what's so cool about gator board though is taking it off, because if you do it on regular wood, taking it off is a real problem. All you have to do is just lift it up. Now take a look at this thing. It has dried, and it is dried absolutely flat. You can see on the edges that it has lifted somewhat, showing you, and me of course, that the paper has really stretched. You can see it mostly on every corner, and that's why you want to put the staples in as closely as you can. You can actually see right here how the paper is lifting. When you paint on this, you'll probably want to put some tape over this so that the water won't catch in these staples. Now, the cool thing about Gator board is if you want to lift this, all you have to do is lift the paper. Sorry for the snappy noise, but that's it. It's lifted up off, assuming you've already painted on it, of course. Now, let me show you the other alternative, and that's to do it on wood. And unfortunately, when the papers are really large, you have to do it on wood because otherwise the staples will come out, just as you saw. The problem with this is you have to use a huge, one of the industrial size staple guns. That part's not so hard. When it's time to pick up these staples, you have to use what's an awl. I think this is the easiest way to do it. Real sharp wood tool. And then you push down on the staple and lift one edge. Once that edge is lifted, you can take a pair of pliers and take the whole thing out. But then you're faced with doing that, and usually you only do it on large ones. So you're talking about doing, I don't know, about 50 of these. But it's your only alternative when you're doing super large paintings. The last thing I want to show you about paper is how to cut it. So this is the standard way of cutting paper for watercolorists. You just fold it in half, push it down, and fold it like you would back in junior high. And get that as tight as you can. Some people then reverse it and fold it the other way. It's not really necessary, actually. You make a tent like this, see that? And grab this end and cut it slightly, tear it slightly. Keep that tent going, and all you have to do is just pull it apart. What's nice about this is that you get that deckled edge. Just tear it all the way down. And now you have 4 sides of a really nice deckled edge, if that's what you want. Another favorite way to do this, it takes a little bit longer, is to wet it. So you can just put a ruler in the middle there. I want both sides cut in half. And just take a brush and lay water right in that line, right where you want the deckled edge. You can let that soak for a little while. I like using a ruler because the water sort of pools up against the ruler. And then just to be sure that I'm not going to have a big mess on my hands, I'll fold it slightly, but you can see how easily it folded because the water has deteriorated the paper. And then you just do the same thing. And it gives you a little bit of a different decal than the other one did. You can see that I did not have to tint it, put a tint on it. And you can see a little bit of a difference between that decal and this one. The tint one is a little bit rougher. The water one is a little bit smoother. So it's your choice on that. I'm lazy way, and that's the way I usually do it. So it's especially if I'm cutting a whole bunch of pieces. So I just measure it off 7.5 inches because I want a whole bunch of 7.5 by 5.5. Simply sit here and tear it up against the ruler. Then I have a little bit of a rough edge, but it's not deckled. And the last way to do it is just to use a pair of scissors. Most manufacturers offer a variety of papers, from thin and very smooth to extremely thick and very rough. But generally the three surfaces that are offered are hot press. That means it's very, very smooth. And then there's cold press, which is called not overseas. It's called not hot press. It has not been pressed. And then rough. And basically they're pretty much what they have to say. And there's three weights usually. One is 90 pound, which is very, very thin. 140 pound or 300 GSM is usually what we use. And then it goes up to 300 pounds. And some people love to use 300 pound. It is extremely expensive. And they like it because they don't want to stretch things. To me, stretching paper is actually fun. So I wouldn't be investing in this 300 pound paper.